Hello, and welcome back to Funnelheads. My name is Andrew, and today we're going to be reviewing the Carnival Elation, which we got off of about a month ago at this point. We're going to go over 5 different categories, starting off with food, ship, entertainment, staff, as well as the destinations. And then we're going to go over an overall grade at the end of the video, so stick around for that. Now, if you do enjoy cruise content, whether it's cruise informational videos like this, cruise vlogs, cruise news, and so much more, consider subscribing, liking the video, sharing with family and friends. We appreciate it, but let's get right into today's video. Now let's get right into the first category, which is food. Now we're going to go over these fairly quickly, but if you have any questions or want more information to any of the categories that we're discussing, just let me know in the comment section below. Of course, I'll respond as soon as possible. But the food on board, we're going to have to grade it as a C, unfortunately. And there's a few things that are definitely holding it back. Now, let's start off with the positives. Now, the new menu, or I would like to say new, but it's been about a year or a little bit longer since they came out with this new dinner menu. Overall, it was very good. There was a few dishes that were kind of hit or miss along, our 5-day cruise. But like I said, overall, they were very good. They came out pretty quick and they were all hot. We never got like a lukewarm dish or a cold dish. So overall, the dining menu was very, very good. Now, sticking with the positives, of course, Blue Iguana Cantina, Guy's Burger, and the deli on board were all very good. Of course, these are staples among Carnival cruise lines, and there's no exception in this case. All 3 of them, we had wonderful meals, especially at Blue Iguana Cantina. The fish tacos for lunch, oh my gosh, they're to die for. I've never had so many fish tacos in my life. They're light, airy, just delicious. You load up, all the different fresh ingredients, not only at Blue Iguana Cantina, but also the toppings bar that's right there. You can add, your pico de gallo, salsa, sour cream, hot sauce, you name it, even limes and some watermelon. Just delicious. And, of course, if you have ever been on a Carnival cruise, Guy's Burger is going to hit right each and every time. One of my favorites is just getting a cheeseburger fresh off the grill, and then of course they have a toppings bar as well, absolutely loaded up. It's a huge mess, terrible for me, but I definitely have to have, at least 3 during a 5-day cruise, and forget about it on a 7-day cruise. It'd be much, much more than that. And then of course the deli, my favorite sandwich to get is the buffalo chicken sandwich, and I get some extra buffalo sauce on the side. It hits the spot each and every time. And the last to discuss for food for positives is going to be the pizza on board. It's always very good, made fresh. Love the pepperoni pizza. The only downside to pizza is it can take a very long time, especially, if you're going at peak times, or if maybe you're coming back, onto the ship from a long day and everybody has the same idea to get some pizza before dinner or whatever the case. You could be waiting very long. And then the last thing is the omelets in the morning, or just eggs your way. One of my favorite things, they have changed it recently where, you can only basically pick from like 3 or 4 different omelets, but still, it's fantastic. Again, made fresh specifically for you, and I love it. I have it pretty much every day, whether it's a vegetable omelet or I get over easy eggs, 2 or 3 of them. Michelle likes the egg white omelets. She always goes for that. So anyway, those are the positives for the food. Now let's discuss the negatives for the food, and there's not a lot, but the ones that are negative really impact this category, obviously. So the number one thing is there's really no specialty dining on board. You can order specific plates in the dining room that cost more, whether it's different steaks or lobsters, things like that. But I wouldn't consider that specialty dining. They also have Bonsai Sushi Express on board. It's very small. It's not a sit-down restaurant like other Carnival ships have it, and it's a very limited menu as well. I mean, it's good if you want, you know, a sushi fix-in during your cruise, and it's pretty inexpensive, but when I think of specialty dining, I want a sit-down meal and, you know, with lots of different sushi variety as well. Now, also on the Lido deck, they have what's called steak and fries, where you can order a specific cut of meat, but again, it's not a sit-down restaurant. You're spending, honestly, just as much as you would at a steakhouse on a different Carnival ship, and again, there's no sit-down restaurant. You basically order, you know, at the Lido deck where the buffet would be. They make it in front of you, and then you just find a seat somewhere on the Lido deck. So again, not really specialty dining. They do have some options, which I do appreciate, but I'm not going to pay extra money to not have, you know, that full experience of great food, great conversation in a great venue. So that is one of the things that definitely holds this ship back. And the last thing that's going to negatively affect the food category is going to be the buffet overall. Now, of course, you can have breakfast, lunch, and dinner at the buffet, and they try to, you know, change it up from, you know, meal to meal and day to day, but there's a lot of repeating options, and unfortunately, nothing is that good. Everything is kind of like lukewarm, very bland, and, you know, might look good from a distance, but when you actually sit down and start trying some of it, you know, we unfortunately wasted a decent amount of food, and I am one that hates to waste food. So the fact that I'm saying this, tried some items, and, you know, just couldn't get through them, you know, just says a lot about the buffet in general. Now, moving on to the entertainment category, this is going to be an A, hands down. There was so much to do, you know, on this size ship. It was really shocking. There was a lot of times where we just couldn't do, you know, two things at once because you had, you know, a show going on here and live music going on there. But overall, it was fantastic. I mean, the cruise director we had was Zachary. I think his last name is Dockrell. He's on vacation currently, but he'll be back shortly. He was terrific the first time we had him. There were so many deck parties. Literally, there was one every single day, you know, whether it's the sail away party, the 80s rock and glow, white night, silent disco, rock the promenade, and the final farewell, just to name some of them. I'm pretty sure there was more than that as well. Overall, the live music on board was very good, whether it was in the atrium or near the casino on the promenade deck. The piano bar was fantastic. Unfortunately, I can't remember the gentleman's name that played for us, but overall, he was very funny. He, you know, interacted with the guests as well as, you know, involved some guests that could sing really well or play the piano, which we really enjoyed. Now, we also enjoyed the Love and Marriage show in the main theater with the cruise director. If you watch this channel, you know how much me and Michelle love the Love and Marriage show. So if you've never seen that, definitely recommend checking it out. Also, the Limelight Lounge on board hosted lots of stand-up comedians as well as showing movies different times of the day in Limelight Lounge. Now, we didn't see any of the comedians. We just didn't have, you know, enough time to, unfortunately, sit down for one of those. But we heard, you know, the vibe overall on the ship said that they were very good, very funny. So take that for what it's worth. Now, the one thing I would say under entertainment that I would love to see a little bit more or a little bit more variety would be in the main theater. Like I said, they do, you know, game shows and the welcome aboard party. However, pretty much every other night was either a playlist production or like Broadway style, which I know people absolutely love those types of shows and no knocks on them whatsoever. It's just not really for us, which is fine. We would like to see some type of variety, whether it's maybe like a magician or a lot of times they invite like America Got Talent. If you enjoy that show, some of the contestants are finalists on board, like different danger stunts and things like that. So it would be really cool if they had a little bit more variety, maybe 1 or 2 days during the cruise in the main theater. But overall, like I said, entertainment was fantastic on board, and that's why it gets an A. Now moving on to the next category, let's go over the ship overall, which includes the layout. Now this is going to be another solid A, which we were very surprised. Honestly, we haven't been on a fantasy class ship. That's a lie. We were on the Ecstasy for this final sailing just a couple of years ago. But before then, we hadn't been on one since 2011, I think it was, which was the Fascination. Now, in saying this, we love the layout of this ship, size and spaciousness of it overall. I mean, the layout is probably one of our favorites among all of the different classes in Carnival. And it's just so spacious. I mean, you could literally show up at a venue at showtime, still find a pretty good seat. I mean, I still recommend getting there, 10 minutes early to get, a really good seat. But if you're in a rush or whatever the case is, you can definitely find a seat in the main theaters, the piano bars, wherever you're trying to watch a show, stand-up comedians. The other really good thing is there's so much open deck space on this ship. So if you want to see, beautiful views of the ocean, the destination, sunrises and sunsets, you can really get some great pictures on this ship. Now, the last thing I wanted to mention is we were blown away about how clean this ship was overall. Now, there was a couple of bumps here and there. Unfortunately, somebody actually had an accident in the pool on the final sea day. I'm sure you've seen the video if you're on this channel, which was terrible, but it was the very last day, like right before dinner, so it didn't affect us at all. We were, going down to the room to get changed as it happened. But, accidents happen, of course. That could be any cruise line, obviously. But as far as the rest of the ship goes, super immaculate. We were blown away. Now, I don't know if it's because, the size of the ship, the amount of crew that's on it, or just management, doing a really good job at hitting all the, crucial areas for a ship. But it was so clean. Not only that, it is so modern compared to even like we were on the Carnival Miracle and the Pride, the Spirit class ships, and the decor and the layout of those ships, even though we do still like it for different reasons, this ship felt so much more modern than those way newer ships. I mean, you're talking about, 10, 12-year difference between the Elation and, the Miracle or the Pride, like I said. And those just, the interior design is kind of dark and gaudy, and the Elation really didn't have any of that. There was a couple of different venues, whether it was like the Tom Sawyer Library, or I think it's the Gotham Piano Bar, I'm pretty sure it's called. Those were a little tacky and gaudy, but honestly, it was really cool seeing. But the rest of the ship, yeah, pretty bright for a ship that was built in, the mid-90s, and we loved it. Now, the next category to discuss is going to be the staff. Now, this is, of course, is going to change, because, certain staff get off the ship every week, some come on, some retire, go on vacation, whatever the story was. But I wanted to talk about our cruise specifically, and they were absolutely wonderful. They get an A+ across the board, and I think it's because of the size ship, honestly. You go on some of the bigger class ships, whether it's like the Vista or XL, and although those crew members, work super hard and they're super nice, they're just so busy. They're trying to take care of the next person, whether it's behind you or to the side of you, that you don't really get to talk to them. And on the Elation, you get to talk to them a lot. I mean, of course, they're still busy, but you can have conversations with them, get to know them, share stories, maybe become friends. That's also with guests as well, but that's a whole different story that we can get into another day. But yeah, it was just wonderful. Not only that, I mean, there were so many bar runners, up on the Lido deck. The bars themselves were never very busy. I mean, besides like the first day, of course, then it's always slam packed. But overall, it was very quick to get a drink most of the time. Not only that, but the casino as well. We never had such great service in a casino before. You know, we dabble in the casino here and there, but I swear every like 5 minutes, a different crew member, you know, was checking to see if we needed a refill or order new drinks. And it was just amazing. We didn't have to like search them out or raise our hand or anything like that, which you normally have to do on certain ships. Also in the main dining room, the staff was wonderful. Of course, they're entertaining us, singing, dancing, but just serving the food, really taking the time to, you know, not only get things right, but also, you know, trying to interact on a more personable level. And then finally, our room steward, I mean, he was just so great. We actually didn't meet him until the second day. He was so busy, but he was so wonderful. He made sure Rhett had everything that he needed, cleaned our cabin super good, and really just provided us everything that we needed at all times. And the final category I wanted to touch on, and this one again could be different for you because of course the ship goes to a couple of different places every now and then. Our trip, we did a 5-day cruise, so we visited Nassau, Bahamas, as well as Half Moon Cay, and we were actually supposed to go to Bimini, but they changed it months ago on us to go to Half Moon, which was fine. We love both destinations. Both are in the Bahamas, so it wasn't really a big deal. And like I said, they told us months in advance. But we really did have a good time. Of course, we've been to Nassau a ton, but we hadn't been back since they built that addition, you know, the additional pier for the other cruise ships that visit. So we weren't sure how that was going to affect it, how busy it was going to be. And it was very busy. I believe there was probably 6 or 7 cruise ships in port that day, and we ended up going to Margaritaville Resort with a day pass for the water park. Now, if you want more information about that, I'm going to be doing a full video on that entire experience. However, the vlog is out now, so if you want to take a look at that, I'll try to link it below. But it was worth the money. Rhett had an amazing time. We ended up walking from the ship to Margaritaville Resort, which was about a 15 to 20 minute walk with our 7-year-old. Now, if it was just me and Michelle, we could have probably done it in about, 10 minutes flat. But we, we walked through the new shopping area, which was fantastic, by the way. So if you're a person that really doesn't want to get off in Nassau or do an excursion, you can literally just walk through the port with all the new shops that they set up, different souvenir areas, bars, restaurants. They have everything, so you could literally just make a day of doing that. But we really enjoyed it. They weren't pushy in the port. You know, if you're trying to shop at those stores, from my understanding, they all have to have some type of license to sell in that area, so that makes it a little bit easier. They also had like a band playing, which we really enjoyed. It kind of set us up for the day. And then, like I said, the Margaritaville water park was just fantastic. Such a relaxing day. Rhett really loved it. We kind of knew what we were getting into because we actually stayed at the Margaritaville Resort a few years earlier when we boarded the Adventure of the Seas from Nassau. So we knew it was, an amazing resort. The water park at that time wasn't open yet, so we kind of saw, it being constructed and kind of what to expect. So we were pumped. It was terrific. Like I said, we'll have a video on that at a different time. Now, also, like I said, we went to Half Moon Cay in the Bahamas, which of course is Carnival's private island. We love Half Moon Cay. It's going to be even better when they add the physical pier there, so that way you don't have to tender into Half Moon. I don't know exactly when that's going to be done, but it's going to be exciting, and I believe it's going to be able to fit XL class ships as well, so that'll give, those larger ships that Carnival have an opportunity to dock there as well. But it's just a great beach day. Of course, you can do different excursions there, whether it's horseback riding or swimming with stingrays or this or that. We actually just bring our snorkels from home, and then we just snorkel at the beach all day, have some, drinks, go to the buffet, which is, of course, provided free for you. But it's just a beautiful, beautiful beach. We stay as late as possible, pretty much till the last tender. As it gets closer to that last tender, you really can see the beauty, of of Half Moon Cay, and we just love it. Now, overall, these destinations that we took are going to get a B+. Like I said, you may be going to different ports, whether it's Princess Cay or Bimini, or maybe even another one that I'm not aware of, but this gives you an idea of what to expect if you are going to either one or both of these destinations. Now let's go over our overall grade for the Carnival Elation in 2024, and overall it's going to be an A-.
Wow.
We had a fantastic time on this ship. Honestly, the only things that knocked it down were, again, the food, not having those bells and whistles for the specialty restaurants, and the buffet being very subpar. Of course, we understand they can't fit any of the specialty restaurants just because of the size ship, but it does get knocked down for that. And then the other thing, honestly, it's just that the cruises are too short. You know, it really only offers 4- and 5-day cruises most of the year, if not all of the year. I don't know if they offer anything else. If they do, comment below, let me know. But yeah, we would love to have a longer itinerary, whether it's 6 nights, 7 nights, 8 nights, you know, on these smaller size ships. I'm not exactly sure why they don't do, you know, these longer cruises on the smaller ships. I'm not sure if, you know, age has a factor or whatever the case is, but would love to see, you know, different destination as well. Like I said, it really only goes to 3 or 4 destinations that I'm aware of. Like I said, if you're booked on the Carnival Elation and you're going somewhere else that I didn't mention, let me know. Would love to, you know, see these itineraries and maybe even book them ourselves, because Jacksonville is a pretty short distance from our home, and now that the sunshine is going away from Charleston, it's going to be our new home port, so would love to see, you know, just a little bit of different variety. Now, I do hope this video helped you out. If you appreciate the content, hit like. Let me know if you're booked on the Carnival Elation or are planning to book it. If you want any other information, more detail, any questions, let me know in the comment section below. Again, consider subscribing if you love cruise content. Hopefully we'll see you right back here in the next video or on a cruise ship one day. Catch you later.
I woke up with the sun today, rolled out of bed and said, I'm gonna have some fun today, and that's just what I did. The birds were singing, come outside, I felt giddy like a kid. If life is like a swimming pool, you know I'm jumping in. We got the perfect summer day, so put me in your plans. You know that this doesn't happen every day, so everybody clap your hands. Cause when we raise on high, every hand in the sky, we're the super fans, feeling grand in the grandstands. Shout it out, make some noise, make it loud, soaking up the lovely weather, everything just comes together. I woke up feeling good today, my journey has begun. I gotta give a shout out to the green grass and the sun. It's a long way off, a tricky shot, but I know it can be done. Another day, another game, another hole in one, yeah. We got the perfect summer day, so put me in your plans. You know that this doesn't happen every day, so everybody clap your hands. Cause when we raise on high, every hand in the sky, we're the super fans, feeling grand in the grandstands. Shout it out, make some noise, make it loud, soaking up the lovely weather, everything just comes together. Lift them up, all the hands, all at once, we're the super fans, feeling grand in the grandstands, and keep them there, all the hands in the air. We're wishing it could last forever, baby, put your hands together. The weather's just so fine, wish I could bottle time. Cause if you only pause, you'll hear the crowd applaud. They're cheering for you now, stand up and take a bow. You know that you deserve it, today is picture perfect.